Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to another live streaming of basic transfer pricing. I would like to say thank you po sa ating mga subscribers. Ilan na tayo, Hari? 781. Okay, so umabot na po tayo ng 781 subscribers, no? As of today. So, thank you very much. And our topic for tonight is about discussion on holding company and finance company, and also the case of OBN, no? Orange Business Norway, at saka yung versus the SCAT or yung tax authority po ng Norway. Okay. Walang shout out. May viewers na ba tayo dapat? 7 viewers. Okay. Tagal nating hindi na gano'n, no? Nawala tayong live streaming because of the filing season, to give way of the filing season. Kaya ngayon lang kami ulit nagkaroon ng chance to have live streaming. But anyway, we have so many good topics coming up because of the siguro share ko what I learned in the international taxation. No? There are so many good topics, especially in transfer pricing. And what is a holding company? A holding company is one that owns outstanding shares of stocks of the other companies. Its purpose is to own shares of other companies to form a corporate group. So, pag holding company ka, you invest in the shares of stocks of the corporation. So, you are a holding company. Ikaw yung pinaka-umbrella of those other companies under you na mga stockholders doon. You are the stockholders ng mga shares of stocks nila. No? How about a finance company? A company concerned primarily with providing money as for short-term loans. No? Why is it that in transfer pricing, very important yung what are the rules of the holding company and also the financing company? Because there is a great difference, no? Pagka ang investment of a certain enterprise is through shares of stocks or through loans, no? Pagka holding company, the holding company will invest in the shares of stocks of the different corporations. While the finance company will extend loan to different companies. So what would be the difference? The holding company will earn dividend from the shares of stocks that it invested in different companies, while the finance company will earn interest, no, coming from the loans it extended to different companies. So, which is more favorable, no, when it comes to taxes? The finance company is more favorable. Why? Because the interest income that would be earned, or the cost of money used for financing the companies, will be charged to operating expenses. It can be claimed as an expense, while dividend cannot. No? So, yun ang, there is a lot of tax savings using a finance company instead of a holding company. So, the holding company invest in shares of stocks or equity, while the finance company invest in loans, no? And then it will earn interest. So that the interest income for the finance company is in turn interest expense of the company who lend that who obtain loans from that finance company. So in it comes to tax savings, there is a lot of tax savings for finance company because the rate of interest sometimes vary in many countries, and whether the company is earning income or not, there is an interest expense. While for the holding company, when the company is not earning and there is no available retained earnings for dividend, then there is no dividend to be declared. And as I told you, dividend cannot be claimed as a deduction in income tax, while interest expense can be claimed as a deduction in income tax. That's why investing in shares of stocks by means of equity and investing in loans, providing loans to subsidiaries in terms of loans and earning interest as liability, no, extending the loans, those are the liabilities. Then between liabilities and equity, liabilities provides more tax savings. No? That's why instead of investing in shares of stocks, the company will lend or extend loans to its subsidiaries in order that there is interest expense that can be claimed. Okay? So yun po yung difference. May shout out? Okay. So, very important po yung concept ng holding company and uh, finance company, especially in transfer pricing. And that's the one I discussed to you, investing in equity or extending liability to companies. No? Pakipatay mo nga yung ano, diretso sa mata ko, sakit. Okay. Okay. So now let's go to the case, the discussion of the case that we have tonight. No, this is Orange Business Norway versus the SCAT or the Tax Authority of Norway. No? So this case concerns the validity of the tax appeal board's decision noong June 28 of 2016 for Orange Business Norway. No? And what is involved here is the income tax years 2006, 2007, and 2008. No? Actually, this is a very, very good case in transfer pricing. And what is being discussed here is about the choice of the proper transfer pricing method that should be applied in the case. So the case main question is whether the company's income in Norway this year has been reduced due to common interest with other group companies. Ito na yung mga ginagawa ng mga companies to save taxes, no? So mag-invest sila and then mag-restructure and then mag-merge and then absorb the losses, no, of the companies. Yun yung mga tax planning, no, ng mga multinational companies. They continue on restructuring and then carry over those losses, and they are benefited when it comes to tax. Or they recognize goodwill and then amortize that goodwill over a period of years, no? So ang laki ng titipid sa tax. The Oslo District Court, ito yung Oslo sa Norway, no? May teacher ako dyan na ano siya sa Oslo, from Oslo siya. Member siya ng tax authority dyan sa Norway, no? Sa Oslo. And he was si Oliver Livu, no? He was our speaker sa OECD sa Kuala Lumpur. And sabay-sabay kaming umuwi noon. Biro mo, from Kuala Lumpur to Oslo, Norway, it took him 16 hours flight, no? Samantala kami from Kuala Lumpur sa papunta ng Pilipinas, 4 hours lang. Siya 16 hours. Mas matindi yung kasama namin na papuntang Africa, no? It will took them almost 2 to 24 hours, no? May 18 hours. Then may mga stopover pa sila sa Japan, may stopover pa sila sa Australia, no? Bago sila makarating sa Africa or sa Oslo, Norway, no? It's a very far country ang Oslo from here, no? Si Europe na, at saka sobrang lamig na doon. Okay. So the Oslo District Court ruled on May 22, 2018 with the following conclusion. So ito yung decision ng court which we will know kung bakit, no? Kasi ako kasi, I also read cases, no, na presented in YouTube. Very short, hindi mo maintindihan. That's why ako, I go a long way, no? For those na gusto nila yung short na parang bullet lang, pero hindi ko maintindihan, paano nila maintindihan yun, no? Okay na yun doon sa ibang YouTube. Pero if you want na detailed, no, dito kayo sa YouTube channel natin. Kasi the cases, the guidelines, the rules, talagang long way po tayo pag nag-discuss, no? Okay. The state versus tax is ordered to pay Orange Business Norway 2,285,485, no? Kroner in legal cost. Ito yung kroner, ito yung pera sa Norway, no? The deadline for fulfillment is 2 weeks from the pronouncement of the judgment. So, just imagine, no? 2 weeks, ang bilis nila. 2 weeks lang kailangan yung judgment, complied mo na, bayaran mo na kung whatever is the verdict of the court. Okay. So panalo dito sa case na to, panalo dito sa appeal pa lang eh. This is sa parang court of tax appeal pa lang natin dito. So panalo yung Orange Business Norway. But I try to research no sa internet kung nag-proceed sila sa Supreme Court. Hindi ko pa makita yung mga updates dito as of February 2020 is Court of Tax Appeal pa lang, no? Wala pang sinabi if the tax authority also appealed in the High Court or the Supreme Court, no? Kasi pwede pa itong i-appeal sa Supreme Court. So, uses the judgment as adequate. The parties have also not had any objections to this, and pages 2 to 15 are therefore reproduced. So, presentation of the case. Ano nangyari dito sa case na to? This is an information about the company and also kung paano po nila ginawa yung transfer pricing. Wherein, in that transfer pricing report prepared by PwC or yung PricewaterhouseCoopers, no? Paano nila pin-repair yung transfer pricing documentation nila, recommending profit split as the method that is applicable to this Orange business, no? So, Orange Business Norway, or OBN, is one of the many subsidiaries in France Telecom. So they are engaged in telecommunication group and is part of the Orange subgroup. Orange is divided into two divisions: the Orange Consumer Division, consumer market, which is comprises approximately of 30 countries and has a significant number of customers, and the Orange Enterprise Division, which includes the Orange Business Services or the OBS business area, and to which the case applies, no? So dito siya sa OBS na apply itong case natin. The Orange Enterprise Division is also referred to as the Enterprise Communication Services or the ECS segment, no? So ganyan pang nag-structure po ang multinational, no, by segment. Sa yung una, parang ginawa nila noon, naalala ko pa, is business center. Ngayon hindi na, by segment, no? According to France Telecom's annual report 2007, ano po yung year involved in this case? 2006, 2007, and 2008, no? So includes the Enterprise Communication Services or the ECS segment. The Business Solutions and Communication Services in France and the Global Business Services of Equant, a subsidiary of France Telecom. This is a very big network, no? And if you try to look at the case, they cater to 220 countries. Imagine ilang countries in the whole world, so they cater to the whole world, no? Just imagine, parang nakakalula yung business nila, no? They cater to the whole world. The Business Solutions and Communication Services in France and the Global Business Services of Equant, a subsidiary of France Telecom, marketed under the Orange Business Services brand. No? So, yan yung brand nila. Kumbaga, ito yung pangalan ng services provider nila. The ECS segment in 2007 generated revenues of 7.7 billion crore euros, no? Compared with 7.7 in 2006 and 7.8 billion euros in 2005, no? Before intragroup eliminations. So, before intragroup eliminations, ang laki ng kita niya, no? 7.7 billion. The business area OBS is a continuation of operations that were previously owned by Equant NV in 2001. Kasi they keep on, ito yung papansin ko sa mga multinational corporations, they keep on restructuring, they keep on changing their business names, no? Kasi along the way, makikita mo may nire-recognize sila mga goodwill, may nire-recognize sila mga amortization, depreciation, may mga net operating loss carryover sila, which benefited the taxes, no? Kasi nalo-lower down nila yung taxes. Telecom bought 54.3 of the shares in Equant NV and then acquired the rest of the shares until May 2005. So fully owned subsidiary na fully owned ownership na ng OBS ang Equant, no? The purchase price in 2000 priced the entire Equant group at approximately euros 1.2 billion, of which 214 million was goodwill. Oh, you can just imagine that, the recognized goodwill. So tingnan mo, itong 214 million na goodwill, i-amortize mo to for how many years? No? So, and then meron pa siyang deficit na carry forward na 2.7 billion. You can just imagine, ilang taon nilang gagamitin yung 2.7 billion na loss plus the 214 million pa na goodwill. No? So you can just imagine the tax consequences. Halimbawa, yung tax rate nila is 30%. You multiply that by 214 million at yung multiply that by 2.7 billion. Yun yung tax benefits nila na makukuha. Oh, so ilan yan? Billion din yan. Oh, that's why they keep on restructuring the business structure in order to minimize the payment of taxes. The business was originally linked to Wide Area Network, or WAN, no? Developed for airports. This business reportedly ran large deficit in the 2000s, no? So, deficit itong Wide Area Network in 2000. Until 2004, Equant Network System Ltd, or INSYS, was a main company that financed and covered the losses. Oh, imagine losing na pero may nagpe-finance pa, no? While other companies, that approximately 90 companies that were later included in OBS, received compensation according to a cost-plus principle. This was a business model which, according to the plaintiff, did not give the companies sufficient incentive to reduce cost, and which led to the TSA. Ano yung TSA? Telecommunication Service Agreements. Ito yung kontrata, no? And in transfer pricing study, the contract is very important. Why? Because in order to determine the arm's length principle, what you're going to do is to examine every provision of the contract, no? If it adheres to the arm's length principle. With effect from 1 January 2004, the Equant Group changed its business strategy. Nag-change na siya ng business strategy, whereby the subsidiaries were to become a globally integrated, seamless provider of telecommunication solutions and services throughout the world. No? So ito yung mga subsidiaries niya. Ilan yung subsidiaries nila? 90. No? So the agreement entered into in this connection is called the Telecommunication Services Agreement, and was entered into between Equant Network System 1, Systems Limited, and each of the entities listed in the Schedule 1, no? Which are the subsidiaries worldwide, including Equant Denmark AS. No? So Equant Finland Oy and Plaintiff Equant Norway AS, which later, after the France Telecom acquisition, changed its name to Orange Norway AS. itong Orange Norway AS, ito yung case natin. No? So the companies covered by the TSA, the aforementioned approximately 90 equine companies are referred to as the Orange Business Group on the business area OBS and are part of Finance Telecoms Orange Enterprise Division or the ECS segment as mentioned above. So, in addition to this segment, meron pa silang non-TSA. So, in non-TSA, ibig sabihin yung Telecommunication Services Agreement, equal entities, subsidiaries in Brazil and Russia. So, pagka kasi nag-a-analyze tayo ng mga cases, take note agad, red light ka agad dyan. Bakit meron silang TSA na agreement at meron din silang non-TSA, no? Kasi if you try to look at the case ng Coke, meron silang company na hindi talaga nagigain ng for many years, no? You have to try to look at also kung bakit siya losing. The 90 companies covered by the TSA, including OBN, jointly provide telephone, internet, and other communication services around the world. No? Kaya around the world sila. According to the above, the key functions are closely integrated across the various units, and the units work closely together to deliver integrated communication solutions in 220 countries and areas. No? Imagine yung 220 countries. That's already the whole world. And to customer who are essentially large multinational companies. No? So, sino yung mga customers nila? Mga multinational companies. No? The 90 units in OBS have a total of approximately 3,000 large multinational companies. Nakakalula. Yung isang multinational nga lang, sobrang laki na. Eh sila 3,000 multinational companies as customers. Imagine. Of which OBN has approximately 20 large customers, including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Statoil. No? Competitors to OBS are Verizon, BT Global Service, or the British Telecom and the AT&T. No? So ito yung mga malalaking service providers when it comes to telecommunication. In connection with the establishment of the new business strategy and the conclusion of the TSA, or yung Telecommunication Service Agreement, an ECWAN 2004 Transfer Pricing Policy document was prepared. No? So, 2004, imagine 2004 pa sa kanila, they are already required to prepare transfer pricing documentation, while in the Philippines, yung first pa lang po natin na transfer pricing regulations is 2013, no? Was prepared in which, among other things, sila 2004 pa. No? In which other things, the background and reasons for changing the transfer pricing system will affect from January 2004. No? Kasi ang transfer pricing policies po are also changing. No? Depende yan sa management. Kaya nga, they keep also changing their transfer pricing policies. No? It's better kaysa gagawa ka na ng adjustment, mas malaking babayaran. The background and reasons for changing the transfer pricing system which affect from January 2004, no, it is initially stated under executive summary. No? The purpose of the report is to provide analysis and other transfer pricing documentation to support the new transfer pricing system implemented in the Equant Group with effect from January 1 to 2004. No? With regard to functional analysis, it is initially stated, among other things, following. As part of providing global telecommunication solutions and services to over 3,500, imagine parami, 3,500 large multinational customers, including 2/3 of the top 100 companies in Business Week's Global 1,000 list for 2003. So, ibig sabihin, who's who talaga yung kanilang mga customers. No? And in order to present these customers with one seamless interface with which to deal, Equant operates as a truly integrated international group. This is extremely important as the majority of customers require services in a variety of countries, no? So alam talaga nila what to supply, no? Kaya nga nakuha nila yung mga uh, uh, multinationals, no? Later on in this part of our discussion, malulula kayo dun sa research and development niya kung ilang countries meron siya at saka ilang patents yung napoproduce nila in a month or in a year, and then pinapapatent nila yan, pinaparegister just to become leaders in the telecommunication, no? So palagi sila may bago, and they employ thousands of researcher, no? So ganun sila kayaman. Okay, so Equant's network reaches 220 countries and territories, and it has 9,500 employees providing support in approximately 165 countries across the world, no? So ganun siya kalaki. Equant does not, in general, build any of its transmission structure. O hindi naman pala. Rather, it controls the intelligent part of the network and the switching and routing, as opposed to owning the physical network fiber and the optonics required to light such network fiber. So, hindi naman pala siya yung nagmamayari ng transmission structure. Ano yung kinokontrol niya? The intelligent part ng network, no? So, yun ang mas mahal. Equant also has an industry-leading portfolio of communication solutions and services, no? Actually, if you try to look at, isa lang may-ari niyan sa kanila eh. Whether itong Equant or yung OBS, isa lang may-ari niyan eh. Using a portfolio of value-added services and the seamless geographic reach of the Equant network, the corporation can access their own information and application as well as applications available from the internet anywhere in the world. So yun ang facilities provided by the telecommunication services nila, no? Provided in the internet, available in the internet anywhere in the world. Equant's customers usually have locations all over the world, and other require invoicing in a single country. So for all worldwide services, in other cases, the customer require the services to be billed in more than one location. Either of these scenarios can mean that although the underlying costs are generated across the span of the group, sometimes only one of the two Equant entities recording the resulting revenues generated. No? So this often creates a mismatch between where the revenue is recorded and where the expenses are incurred to provide the services. You can just imagine if you create a very complicated structure, ito na yung nangyayari. Yung revenue dun sa ibang company recognize, yung expenses sa ibang mga companies din nire-recognize, no? So you can just imagine. Then a description is given of how Equant's functional structure is organized on a globally integrated basis to achieve seamless, globally integrated solutions and services, and of the summary of analysis given before the choice of the most appropriate pricing method, were discussed. The residual profit split method is chosen as the most appropriate transfer pricing method in determining the appropriate arm's long return to the provision of those telecommunication services. So yun yung nirecommend ng gumawa ng transfer pricing documentation nila, which is the PwC, no? So Equant BV's annual report 2004 states that Equant has no basic research as of 31 December 2004. We do not perform basic research. We engage in a measure of technical research focused principally on monitoring emerging technologies and the manner in which they can be adapted for commercial value. So tingnan mo ano yung strategies ng mga market players. Ano yung sabi nila dito? they are engaged in technical research, no? Ano yung nire-research nila? Monitoring emerging technologies. Binabantayan nila kung ano yung mga nag-emerge na mga technologies, no? And then unahan na nila and then o kaya sabayan. France Telecom's annual report 2006 states that France Telecom's strategic marketing efforts are founded on the strength of the research and development, no, system. May nakikinig pa? Ilan? Okay. So, with over 3,700 researchers, ito na yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, how many yung kanilang mga researcher, no? Sobrang dami. Scientists and engineers, it is around 500 inventions. Imagine, 500 inventions patented each year. No? Kasi meron silang 3,700 na researchers. Saan yan saan yan located, no? With over 8,300 patents filed, no? So meron silang patented na mga inventions, no? Okay. Why? Because the group is committed to providing its customers with the best technology as soon as it becomes available, while factoring in the next technological generation. So the group research and development has 15 laboratories in 7 countries. No? You can just imagine. China, South Korea, the United States, France, Japan, Poland, and the UK. Doon yung kanilang mga laboratories in research and development. Its immersion at the heart of this research hotspot is enabling the group to keep at the forefront of technological advances and development in uses around the world. So, since talagang, gano'n naman talaga pag nag-focus ka sa isang gawain and then you become the best, then you become the leader, no? Imagine 3,700 researchers yung in-employ niya. It follows from the TSA that the parties have agreed that they will provide such telecommunication services and assistance in each other as set forth in this agreement, subject to condition herein, and so that they agree that the all transfer pricing arrangement should terminate automatically, no? With effect from 31 December 2003. It further appears that the parties agreed to work together to create new transfer pricing arrangement designed to reflect more accurately the new business strategy of the group and to provide arm's length remuneration for all telecommunication services and assistance provided to each other in pursuing the strategy. No? Kasi ang mga multinationals, may mga binabayaran talaga yan sila. They hire the best, no? And those best are making strategies para maging successful ang companies. And they agree that the basis for arm's length pricing would be a method recommended in the transfer pricing guideline for multinational enterprises. Ito yung OECD 2017 transfer pricing guidelines for multinational enterprises and tax administrations. And that the parties in this connection appointed PricewaterhouseCoopers as advisor. No? So itong PwC, this is one of the big firms, no, in the world. As advisor to the group to evaluate the OECD guidelines and to determine the most appropriate arm's length transfer pricing methodology, taking into account the specific features of the business, and upon such a determination agree to enter into a new transfer pricing arrangement with effect from January 1, 2004 based on the recommendation of PwC. Kasi, no, it's my experience also that I have to recommend also to my clients, especially kung hindi papasa yung kanilang policy or yung kanilang setup, hindi talaga siya arm's length, no? So you're going to recommend, no, remedy para magiging arm's length po yung transactions. Why? Because if the transactions are not arm's length, it is mandatory that you make adjustment, no? And then you have to pay additional tax. Okay, so by letter dated February 2005, PwC report Equan 2004 Global Transfer Pricing Economic Analysis, no, was sent to Equan. And the letter of transmission states, among other things, that this report analyzes and documents the intercompany pricing mechanism established January 2004 between the Equan Group of affiliated companies. The arm's length principles set forth in the transfer pricing guidelines for multinational enterprises and tax administration issued by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or the OECD, was utilized by us to conduct the analysis. So, yun yung ginamit nila. But dito sa study ko sa international taxation, yung OECD transfer pricing guideline has no force of law. No, hindi, kaya nga wala siyang penalty eh. Why? Because the OECD transfer pricing guideline is a soft law. The functions or yung visa niya is merely recommendatory. But because itong OECD is the most powerful na group when it comes to tax policies, kasi sila yung gumagawa nasa Center for Tax Policies and Administration of the World. So, yung kanilang mga recommendations na yan are almost, ito na yung binabasihan lahat, ang even the United Nations and also the domestic laws of every countries, no? So, yun na yung binabasihan. Okay, so it was utilized to conduct the analysis. We relied upon functional interviews conducted in conjunction with the Equant Tax Department or K-Equant operational personnel and also our knowledge and experience within the telecommunication industry to evaluate the intercompany transaction in conjunction with the OECD guidelines. No? So the functional interviews and industry analysis concluded that Equant is a globally integrated communication services and network provider. It further concluded that the Equant business paradigm had shifted from Equant previously being a provider of network capacity to Equant telecommunication services in conjunction with the provision of network capacity. Also, from this functional interviews and industry analysis, the economic analysis contained in this report. No? Before I forgot, siguro yung sa Wednesday, yung ating topic naman is how to report in the transfer pricing analysis the effect or the economic impact of COVID-19 in our report. And in a way that is for 2020, no, tax period. Kaya nga dapat pag gumagawa ka ng transfer pricing analysis report, mayroon pa silang mga recommendation, no, yung IBFD, that you are going to present multiple year, i-sum up mo yung mga multiple years na result niya, and then ipakita mo anong effect niyan, what happened during the pandemic. But of course, not all industries are affected by the pandemics. There are industries na tuloy pa rin sila kahit may pandemic, no? Kasi sino lang ba naman yun na affected by the pandemic? Ito yung mga transportation companies, recreation, ito yung mga hotels, restaurant. Pero yung mga food industries, mga service, tuloy pa rin, no? So, yun yung magiging topic natin on Wednesday. Okay? So, in this transfer pricing analysis po na ginawa ng PwC or the PricewaterhouseCoopers, recommended the profit split, no, as the best method for transfer pricing. Bakit profit split? Kasi ang sabi niya, the operation is highly integrated. So kung highly integrated ka, dapat profit split ka, because every participant of the group, every company in the group are contributing intangibles and know-how over the product. No? So, kaya profit split method. Okay, so internal pricing is regulated in the TSA. Nakakikita yan doon sa telecommunication service agreement nila, no? Under Section 2A daw. So, describe what telecommunication services and assistance includes and which further defines a total operating margin, no? Within the meaning of the agreement by reference to Schedule 3. No? So, it is defined in the agreement. Pero sa totoo lang, before you can get the operating margin, ano muna ang umpisan mo? Yung umpisa sa sales, less cost of sales equals gross profit, less operating expenses equals the operating margin. No? So, in Schedule 3, the agreement, the calculation of the parties, approximately 90 companies, share of the operating margin settlements, entitlements, whether positive or negative, is regulated as follows. No? So, calculation of total operating margin percentages, and entitlements. No? So, for each period as determined, the administrator, but which shall generally be 1 month, and in no event in excess of 12 months each year, the administrator shall calculate the aggregate of all the parties reporting operating margins, no, or the total operating margins. For each period, the administrator shall also calculate in respect of each party an amount equal to 8% of that party's staff cost, including K staff cost, no, the uplift, and the aggregate of all parties uplift the group, no, the group uplift. The total operating margin for a period reduced by group uplift for the same period shall be known as the allocable amount. No? So ito naman yung sa um, strategy ng group, no? So the total operating margin for a period as reduced by the group uplift for the same period shall be known as the allowable amount. Such allowable amount, whether positive or negative, shall be divided into 3 parts as set out below, together with the called allocation parts, no? So, ito na yung kanilang allocation, no? So, for the network operations, 33.33%. For the sales and marketing operations, 33.3%. And number 3, field operation, which is also 33.33%, no? So, for each period, the network operation allocation part shall be apportioned between the parties based upon the relative agreement amounts incurred by each party in that period of the following, no? So, yung network operation staff cost and the network investment amortization, no? Okay. For each period, the sales and marketing operations allocation part and the field operation allowable part shall be apportioned between the parties based upon the relative amounts incurred by each party in the period of sales and marketing. No? So, ano ba yung pinag-awayan dito? No? Anong oras na tayo, Hari? May 1 hour na?
43 minutes pa lang.
Okay. Kasi, although na sabi ko ayoko nang mag-shortcut. Pero pag tiningnan mo kasi pabalik-balik na naman dito. But what happened in this case talaga, ang pinag-usapan nila dito is the method, no, applied. And why is it na ang ginawa dito ng Orange Business Norway, ang ginamit niya is the profit split method, no? Samantalang ang na-argue ng tax authority or the SCAT is dapat daw TNMM or the transactional net margin method, no? Okay. So, ano decision po dito ng court, no? Ano naging decision dito ng court? Talo dito ang tax authority, no? Ang sabi ng court, pinanigan niya yung Orange Business Norway at ang sabi niya proper or talagang applicable yung profit split method in this case. So anong ginawa ng court? The tax authority was required to pay cost to the Orange Business Norway. Oh, so magkano yung pinabayad sa kanya? Um, okay. OBN is subsequently awarded 101,245 in expense coverage in addition to the fees to the legal representative, no? And then 1,986,389 the total amount awarded, no? Okay. Okay, so ano ang judgment dito? The appeal is rejected. No? Sino ba nag-appeal dito? The tax authority. No? The state versus Scottin Tetin is ordered to pay, ito yung Scott, no? Ordered to pay Orange Business Norway 2,087,634. 2,088 80,600, no? 88, 87 lang to eh. 634, no? Kroner in legal cost. The time limit for the fulfillment is 2 weeks. So, within 2 weeks, dapat bayaran na niya yung cost charged to it. Orange Business Norway is covers before the Court of Appeal the cost of court interpreters, no? Within OK 80,720, 80,720 kroner. Okay, so yun po yung verdict ng court, no? So yung profit split method is applicable in this case, no? So wala pa naman sinabi dito kung yung tax authority ng Norway ay nag-amend or nag-appeal, no? Wala pa silang sinabi dito. But as of today, the case is resolved in favor of the orange business. So panalo po sila. So with that, may ano pa? May viewers pa? Okay.
5 viewers.
So with that, I would like to say thank you po for watching sa lahat ng mga viewers natin. Thank you for watching, no? And thank you very much din po sa ating mga subscribers. No? So expect na magdadala po kami sa inyo ng iba't ibang topics in transfer pricing na may pagkapulutan natin ng aral. At siguro i-shorten na namin po yung 2 hours kasi ang dami ding mga subscribers na nagsasabi na sobrang haba na ng 2 hours natin, no? Pati yung ating subscribers ay napapagod na. And then, not only that, yung ating discussion is ilimit na lang natin. But siguro ang gagawin natin next time, magbibigay ako sa inyo ng mga reading materials that you can refer into pag gusto nyo magbasa, no? Magbibigay kami sa inyo ng mga references ng mga cases na dinidiscuss natin. So that if you want to go through in detail, pwede. Kasi para doon sa iba na ayaw nila yung detail, gusto nila summary lang, then madali lang po natin maintindihan. So with that, I would like to say thank you and let's call it a night.